Hey, I always do that at the beginning, turn on that light. And so, like, the first clip of me is like this. I think it's funny. Like, I looked at my channel and I've got like faces. Whatever. It's all good, right? It's all good. No judgment here. Like, I'm not going to judge myself. Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning, or whenever you watch this live, which it won't be live after now. I'm done. I'm not. Karen Drucker, Alexa Pause, amazing, uplifting songs. This is a little rough for me this morning. It's Wackadoodle Wednesdays. And yesterday, as I was doing some things, I really started to wonder about past shutdowns, government shutdowns. So this is Wackadoodle Wednesdays, and we're going to talk about the government shutdown. And it's hard because looking at the information and the evidence and the facts. So that happened yesterday. I started wondering about the economic impact of U.S. shutdowns. And so what is the history of U.S. government shutdowns in the U.S.? And they started, I think, actually in the 1970s, but 1980 moving forward. And in the beginning, they were like 3 days, 2 days, 3 days, short, quick, fast. And even other shutdowns have been like, not record breaking for the wrong reasons, right? But this shutdown, so I started looking at the economic impact over the years. Looking at the top basic financial indicators for economics. I feel like it's important for me to say this. I know a lot about a lot of different things. I had a philosophy teacher way back in the day ask or talk about, would you rather know a lot about one subject, which is totally cool, or would you rather know a little bit about a lot of different things, which is also pretty cool. And that's what philosophers do. Anyway, I can tell you that I know what I know. I can tell you what I don't know, right? What I don't know is like chemistry. Like I don't know. Like I can understand the basics of chemistry. Absolutely. I have an aunt and an uncle who both have master's degrees in chemistry, right? I have another uncle and a cousin who are professors in physics, right? So certainly I have the capacity, but that's not in my wheelhouse. And it never has been. Like that's never been the way I wanted to go. I also don't know anything about venture capitalism. I don't know anything about that. I don't know what venture capitalists do. I don't know how they operate. I wouldn't be able to speak in any way on what it is to be a venture capitalist because I'm clueless. I'm sure I can look it up and learn. Still, I don't have that experience in my wheelhouse. What I do have in my wheelhouse is curiosity. So curiosity takes over and I start thinking, okay, what are the long-term and short-term impacts of U.S. government shutdowns? And I started to investigate that and look into that. And there's always been some. I have a YouTube post up. It's just a post of what that economic income looks like, looking at the 5 financial indicators, the top 5. Take a breath. Okay. Breathing is so important. I did that yesterday and then tried to do some projections on if this U.S. government shutdown continues 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks past Thanksgiving, what that long-term and what the short-term and long-term economic impacts of that are going to be. I think it's important to take this very seriously and have contingency plans. The president is out of the country at a time of national crisis and chaos that he's creating, right? He's chosen to leave the country at a time when we need him the most. And he has chosen, and the media has chosen, to say to him and to the world this economic shutdown, this US government shutdown, isn't as important as him seeking a third term. And personally, as a voter, a US citizen born here, I don't want him to be in power another 3 seconds, let alone another third term. And the fact that news agencies are making more out of him being a dictator than him, no kings, right? Than him being in this country at the Capitol doing what his job is supposed to be, which is representing the people of the United States and solving this shutdown immediately. He has chosen to be out of the country. So therefore, this crisis, this chaos that he's created with the US government requires all of us to think about what our contingency plans are. So for me, it's always been this thing of having multiple streams of income, right? And for whatever reason, I chose to stop doing that for a while, and that's fine, and we all do. But to have multiple streams of income, to have your resume ready. 30,000 Amazon employees got laid off yesterday, right? So if you're employed now and you feel secure, lucky you, let that in. Otherwise, for the most people out there, we need contingency plans, because if 750,000 workers, and I have some other statistics here, don't have jobs, they don't have money coming in to buy anything, right? Nothing. Nada. Not happening. So you, that small business owner that's been running your retail store for a couple years now, and it's been going well, and you're wondering, what's my contingency plan if this goes through Thanksgiving, right? Reach out to me. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what your contingency plan is. If President Trump was in the US today talking about how he's going to help negotiate and mediate this standoff in Congress, I would feel differently. But the fact that he's not even in the country, I don't feel that way. This is going to go on. I don't think it's going to get solved today. It might. Somebody might step up today. Senator Barrasso, Senator Lummis, step up today. Come on, for the people of Wyoming, which I have that information here on Wyoming's impact. All right. The other thing is Trump is negotiating trade deals. Woohoo! No, he went and negotiated a peace treaty between Palestine and Israel and Gaza, and there's war today. Yes, thank goodness. And we are all happy that those prisoners of war are home safely, and we've got remains back, and the Palestinian prisoners are back in Gaza, right? Like, we're glad that the exchange happened. We are not diminishing that whatsoever. However, he didn't negotiate peace, and he didn't negotiate peace with Zelensky and Putin. There's not peace. We don't have peace. So for me, how can a trade deal, especially from Trump, how can a trade deal between South Korea and us last any more than, Trump's going to have a temper tantrum in 2 minutes, and that trade deal is going to be over. He's not doing anything, folks. He's running away from where he needs to be. And that's my freedom of speech. Wyoming Impact. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. As far as action, right? Food drives are in my future. So I went to bed last night, and with this all on my mind, and obviously did not sleep well. Woke up this morning to the news of the Hurricane Melissa, hitting Jamaica, and North Carolina shoreline is disappearing. Well, the houses on the shoreline are disappearing. So there's not FEMA. There's not, I think I have this in my notes too. FEMA is not available. NOAA is not available. Yeah. It's hard. All right. The global impact of the U.S. government shutdown as it continues. Today, markets are rattled. International investors are bracing for volatility as the shutdown delays. As the shutdown delays key U.S. economic data, complicating decisions for central banks worldwide. That's from J.P. Morgan. Diplomatic strain. The shutdown is seen as a sign of institutional instability, affecting global perceptions of U.S. leadership and reliability. That's from Schiller International. Trade negotiations disrupted. President Trump is currently overseas, but the shutdown has stalled domestic support for trade deals and foreign aid packages. USA Today. Wyoming impact. SNAP benefits halted. Roughly 28,000 Wyomingites will not receive food assistance on November 1st if the shutdown continues. That's from Wyoming Public Media. All right, 28,000 Wyomingites. I'm going to the feed bank Thursday. Anyone else that's watching or will watch, if you're thinking of donating food, call your food bank first and find out what they need. Canned vegetables are on everybody's shelf, all right, or almost everybody's shelf. Flour, sugar, if you powdered milk, those are all things that are people would just soak those up at a food pantry, right? Like those are amazing things to give. Of course, a donation of money is always nice as well. If you do like Hamburger Helper, you include like a can of, like, don't do Hamburger Helper, do Tuna Helper or something else. But rather than do a box of Hamburger Helper, do a bag of pasta. Like just do a bag of pasta. Oil, cooking oil is really important if you can do cooking oil. These are things I know. All right. State-funded stopgaps. Governor Gordon's office confirmed Wyoming is temporarily covering federally funded state positions, but long-term solutions are uncertain. That's from Wake Up Wyoming. Federal ripple effects. With $6.4 billion in federal awards flowing into Wyoming annually, disruptions are hitting housing, retail, and service sectors hard. That's from the National Treasury. Billionaire interventions. I gotta love this. I mean, in that kind of humorous, sarcastic way. We have a billionaire that will fund the military. Will he also fund the food banks? Will he also help find housing? This is Wyoming. Billionaire intervention. Saratoga, which is not too far from me. Saratoga's Timothy Mellon anonymously donated $130 million to cover military salaries during the shutdown. That's from the Cowboy State Daily. Well, obviously it's not anonymously. Tim Mellon, it's not anonymously. Like, we all know you did it. $130 million to cover military salaries. I wonder if that money's going to ICE during the shutdown. You guys, that's do you know how many houses you could refurnish and refurbish and make available? How many buildings that are depleted and could be rebuilt and made available for people to live with $130 million? Tell me that doesn't make me sad. Like, come on. We'll spend more money on the military than on humanity. There's a reason why we say eat the rich. All right, Laramie, where I live. I mean, honestly, if this isn't touching some part of your soul. All right, Laramie impact. Federal workers unpaid. Local USDA, Forest Service, and VA employees are among those missing paychecks, with community groups stepping in to provide food and essentials. That's Wyoming Public Media. Yep, we're going to do what we can. University research paused. Federal grants supporting University of Wyoming projects are frozen, affecting labs and student stipends. That's right here in Laramie. Okay, that means, research isn't getting done. Students aren't getting paid. And it's only Halloween. It's only Halloween, folks. It's Halloween. How are they going to get their Halloween candy? to give out. Not even for them to eat themselves, but to give out. All right, transit and safety delays, YDOT, and local emergency services reliant on federal coordination are facing slowdowns. Okay, that's another sign of our national economy is the number, because I-80 is an interstate, I-90 is too. We are landlocked, so our interstate, is what connects us to other states, bringing things in and out. So we can see the economic impact by the number of semis hauling stuff on the interstate. I haven't been on the interstate lately to see. I haven't been near the train tracks lately to see either. I will make that a thing that I do on Thursday just to see. I mean, that's a visual way to look at economic impacts. Everybody can do it. You can go to your local shopping center and see how many people are in line and see what's on the shelves and see what's not on the shelves. That's a sign of economics. The number of houses that are for sale in your neighborhood, the number of for rent sites that are for sale in your neighborhood, right? None? Oh, housing is good. A lot? Okay, we're going to experience a housing bubble. So those are all economic indicators that we can just look at ourselves. All right, personal impact. ACA subsidies at risk. Millions, including small business owners and freelancers, may lose access to affordable health insurance if subsidies expire. That's the Colorado Public Radio. Okay, so I don't care that I'm going to lose my health insurance. Like, I would just want my health care, and I know my healthcare provider, and we'll work out a billing, right? I will just pay her monthly, whatever, right? I almost screw the insurance companies. SNAP, okay, it wasn't affordable anyway. ACA subsidies at risk. It wasn't affordable anyway. I talked to people, their premium that they have to pay every month went up like 300%. It went from 300 to 700. I'm pretty sure those are the right numbers. Anyway, our insurance isn't affordable. Affordable health insurance. That's an oxymoron, if you ask me. Affordable health insurance. We need health care. We don't frickin' need affordable health insurance. We need frickin' health care. All right. SNAP recipients bracing for hunger. Families across the country are preparing for tough choices as food stamps dry up. Go to your local church. If your food stamps are drying up, find a local church. If you are a religious person who is within a church, Maddie is coming to visit. Come on, Maddie. One of the purposes of the church is to provide for the poor. Jesus says the poor will always be with us. And so part of the donations that go to churches are meant to also then funnel through to the poor. So that's why I always say the first place to go is a church, because churches have those resources. I used to work for a church way back when I was just trying to get back on my feet. And one of my responsibilities was to work with people who came to us asking for gas, asking for, help with their utilities, sometimes just to get them turned on, that little bit of rent assistance. So I know, that's why I always say, if you are a SNAP recipient and now you don't know what you're going to do for the next, I hate to say it, through Thanksgiving. That's hard. SNAP, if you are a SNAP recipient, go to your local church. But then there's also the food banks. And I'm talking to people in Wyoming. It's very rural. So if people know each other, they're going to know, and we're going to step up. We're going to step up. The next thing is mental health toll. Individuals like Chelsea Baker Hawk in Colorado describe living in constant anxiety over healthcare and bills, a sentiment echoed nationwide. That's by Colorado Public Radio. In Wyoming, it's 988. In Wyoming, if you are having a mental health crisis, if you're just like, I can't do this, whatever is happening, I think it's 988. And there's somebody available who will call, you can talk to. And they not only talk to you in this moment, right, but they will call you again and follow up with you in a few days. So And Friday, I'm going to listen to my voice because this is so hard. Friday, we're going to talk about suicide and assisted suicide. And that is so important right now because of the mental health toll of not having money coming into your house. It is so hard for people, or enough money coming into your house. All right. And I don't want to have some sort of scarcity impact on that, like that scarcity mental thought. No, there's an abundance. That's just it. I truly believe this from my own experiences. There's an abundance. There's plenty. There's 130 million. So please don't feel like there's not enough to go around. That we're going to make the table bigger. We're just going to make the table bigger. We're going to invite more folks over. We're going to get a little bit more food, and we're just going to make the table bigger because there is an abundance in this world. And we don't have to live in scarcity. We don't have to live in lack. We can live in flow, and we can be okay. We can be okay. We're going to help each other. So please, if you're feeling some sort of mental health way because you lost your job or you don't have a job, or you're going to work but you don't have gas money to get to work, whatever's going on, there are people around who can help and will help. But now I'm going to say this. Delayed paychecks. Nearly 900,000 federal employees are furloughed, with another 2 million working without pay. So how do you get to work in your car that requires gas, that requires money, if you don't have a paycheck? Go to your church. Go, I don't know, somebody's going to help you get the gas money. Talk to your boss or somebody. The 2025 U.S. government shutdown has entered its fourth week, becoming the second longest in history, with global, local, and deeply personal consequences. Yay! Good news. I don't know. I don't know that I can turn that into something funny, but we'll try. All right. And then, just because this was at the top of the news today, Hurricane Melissa, economic shockwave. So it's Category 5 devastation. Melissa made landfall in Jamaica with 185 mile per hour winds, causing catastrophic damage and threatening Cuba, Haiti, and the Bahamas. U.S. ripple effects. While direct landfall in North Carolina is unlikely, rough surf and beach erosion are already impacting the East Coast. That's from the South Florida, I don't know, something. Federal response delayed. FEMA and NOAA operations are hampered by the shutdown, slowing disaster aid, forecasting, and recovery coordination. Supply chain disruptions. Caribbean ports and U.S. coastal shipping routes face delays affecting imports and exports, especially agriculture, goods, and fuel. And again, the commander-in-chief is out of the country. North Carolina homes falling into the sea. Erosion crisis. Coastal towns like Rodantia are losing up to 14 feet of shoreline per year, with homes collapsing into the ocean. UNC Media Hub. Insurance and rebuilding costs. Homeowners face rising premiums, denied claims, and expensive relocation or rebuilding efforts. Tourism losses. Beach erosion threatens North Carolina's $3 billion coastal tourism industry, with fewer safe vacation rentals and damaged public beaches. Infrastructure stains. Roads, utilities, and emergency services are increasingly vulnerable, requiring costly upgrades or managed retreat strategies. I have no idea why I was itching my face. Shutdown amplifies the damage. Delayed disaster aid. FEMA's ability to respond is limited, leaving communities without timely support. Housing bottlenecks. Federal loan approval, FHA, VA, USDA are stalled, compounding the crisis for displaced families. Environmental data gaps. NOAA's climate tracking and erosion model are paused, impairing long-term planning. All right. Well, I was just going to say, Have a contingency plan. Know what you're going to do if, right? If this happens, then this. And not in a scary, panicked way. Not in an, oh my God, I got to do something. No. Just like realistically, how to navigate the U.S. government shutdown today on Wackadoodle Wednesdays. Alexa, would you play some special music for me?
Sure. There's a custom mix just for you.
Oh, nice. You guys have a good day. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.